those notifications go out, I'm holding the headset. Okay, I'm just something different. So give it a few minutes. Let those notifications go out. Well, because I move around, and the cord is only so long, and so I said, let's see what happens when we hold it, and so we can have a little bit more mobility, because y'all know how we roll, right? When the Holy Spirit starts talking, we just let it roll. We are Holy Spirit led at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA, and I'm going to answer some questions if you've got them, and the comments on the replay as well. Do not hesitate to reach out. My email is in the video description below. All right, so y'all can ask them questions, and well, because somebody asked if I had coaching sessions, and yes, so we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to highlight something, set the record straight, if you will, because it's come to my attention that there are some on Quora, where I saw this, where they are under the impression that the devil owns this world. No. Okay? The devil doesn't own anything. And we're going to talk about that, because it goes in line with the concept of how the devil cannot do anything to us unless we enter into an agreement with him. So you must understand that. So it goes right in line with that. The devil does not own anything. He can't. So while those notifications go out, let me do our usual check over here. A little different, holding the microphone. And we're going to see how that is going. So while those notifications go out, let me do our usual check over here. Okay, there we go. All right, I've got the chat up over here for y'all. And I do know that there's some who like to pop in. The Jezebel case studies like to pop in and see how we doing. Hey! We're doing great! Thank you! Alright, now, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living, because we can do that. And I had somebody ask if we offer, consulting and coaching session. Yes. Okay. The website link is listed below. It is cdhrwdrmd.org. When you go there, you will find consulting and coaching sessions in the navigation drop-down menu. When you click on that, it takes you to the page where you can see all the available sessions. We have 30 minutes. We have 1 hour, 1.5, and then we also have 2-hour session, and we have a weekly 3-hour session available. So we have those, and then for the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 1.5 hour, we have coupon code. We'll cover that later on. I want to make sure you all get those, because it will give you, like, for example, BTBW15 gets you 15% off your first 30-minute individual session, and all individual consulting and coaching sessions are virtual or by phone, whatever you prefer. And there are no contracts, there are no retainers, because as a trauma survivor, you will book when you are ready. There is no obligation here. We have no demon of obligation in this ministry. So we don't operate like the world does with those. A lot of people, like with therapists and stuff, or like lawyers, you know how they have retainers. We don't do that. We don't do that, because you all will have the option to reschedule and cancel on your own. It'll be in your booking email. Okay, your confirmation email. You want to save that, because we know things. I've had that happen, where someone booked a session, and then all of a sudden, because trauma healing does take time, and it's going to have its ups and downs, and so you don't know one day to the next, right? And so they were booked to have a session, and they just weren't feeling too well, and asked if they could reschedule, and I said, absolutely, the link is in your confirmation email. You can do it yourself. Okay? So you got the control over that, okay? And book when you're ready. All right, no pressure. We have tons of content. In the meantime, we keep it moving, okay? And so let's talk about how the devil doesn't own anything because, well, it came across on Quora, and they were talking about the devil owning this world, and I said that doesn't sit right. I understand that we refer to Satan as the prince of the airwaves. Okay, we get that because he's trying to mirror God. And the only way he can try and mirror God is through the airwaves. Okay? And he sucks at it. Okay? But the devil can't own anything. What's the devil all about? Appearances, right? He had to make things look real. Because he has nothing but illusions. The illusion of power and control. This is why he can't do anything to us unless we enter into an agreement with him. And once we learn that we've done that, oh yeah, there was a place that I was living at that I found out is a mini electrocution chamber. I now refer to it as the death chamber because, oh yeah. Okay, and I talk more about that on the Patreon channel, but signing a lease to live there, yeah, I didn't realize I signed an agreement with the devil. Well, we broke it. And God says, we can break those. Once we learn that that was an agreement with the devil, oh, it's time to go. It's like, oh, oh yeah, we've got that power and authority from God on the inside to do that. But the devil doesn't own anything. He might be the prince of the airwaves or the prince of the darkness of this world, of course. Because he's all about that darkness. He's all about appearances. Just like narcissists. Y'all, I say it a lot. You want to know who the devil is? All you got to do is just pay attention to these narcissists. Pay attention to how they behave. Toddlers in adult body. And then, of course, with dishing out all that abuse. Okay? Well, that's who the devil is. Okay? They are... I know... Well, the devil can't procreate. So, I used to think we're narcissists, like spawns of the devil. That's one way to look at it, but really they're not. Because the devil can't procreate. Only God creates. So the devil basically, right, and because he can't procreate, he doesn't create, he causes. That's something that we learn when we start changing our vocabulary about how the devil operates. Because he doesn't create, he causes chaos and drama. And he is all about appearances. He has to have something appear. So he will cause appearances. He will cause people to play themselves to make his lies look believable. So the devil doesn't own anything. How can you own an illusion? Let that sink in. How can you own an illusion? That's all the devil had. And head game. He don't even own those. Okay? He might have no new tricks under the sun, but he don't own nothing. That's giving the devil way. Well, the devil don't even have any power, really. Y'all got to understand that too. So when you say that the devil owns something, you're actually giving power to the devil. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're giving power to the devil when you say he owns something. None of us owns anything, really. When you... we'll talk about that. The reality check. Because 1 Timothy 6, verse 7 is very clear. We didn't bring anything in. We're not taking anything out. We don't own anything. We could say, oh, I own my car because I don't have car payments. That means it's paid in full. I own the title. But do I really? Because whenever you move or you relocate, you have to, in the United States, I don't know about anywhere else, but I know when I move and I register my vehicle in another state, I have to update my title. In other words, I have to register my title with that state, get a new title. Who owns my car? Not the state? No, they don't really own anything either. Nobody does. It's all part of the game of narcissism for the illusion of power and control. And the only reason that we got to do that kind of stuff with our vehicle is it's just one way for the Matrix to try, and keep up with us. I had to get my credit checked for something, and they needed me to, the place I was shopping at, they needed me to fill out a questionnaire. Because the salesman came back and he said, "You're a mystery woman." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you know, run that credit check, but they need to make sure you're who you are. Apparently, you move around a lot." Not really, but I stay low key. See, that's what staying low key is all about. I had to share that with y'all. I thought it was funny. I said, "Oh, I'm a mystery woman." It was like 5 questions. They had to verify. They had to really make. And I'm talking stuff like, right, like where was my social security number? Where, yeah, right. Where was that? Where did I obtain it? Not when I got married or divorced. Not in North Carolina. No, 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 no. The state that I was born in, but only I'm going to know that. I was laughing. I said, "Ooh, I'm a mystery woman." Okay. Cool bean. But that's how we were able to find out that we're doing a lot better now, you all. Since I figured out that these so-called business funders, yeah, they want to offer you business capital. When I get a text message, I report it as junk now. I don't even talk to them anymore because all they do is pull your credit. They don't want to give you nothing. They just want to drive their score down, and that's what they did. But we put a stop to that when we realized that's what was happening. Anyhow, and so now it's on the recovery mode, if you will. Now, but y'all, nobody really owns anything on this planet. That's like the narcissism mindset, and I understand it's easy to think about the fact that, oh, okay, so this tumbler, okay, I bought it, it's mine, I own this tumbler. Do I really? No, I mean, it's in my possession, but I'm not attached to it. I think when you, well, and they want to give you the title of ownership as part of tricking you into accepting the ism mindset. See, I don't look at my stuff as owning it. I mean, I know they asked you the question, especially if you're trying to apply for a loan. Do you own your car? Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to have to claim it that way because that's how the world words it, but I don't even look at it that way. Seriously, y'all, that is how God humbles us. God humbles us by, we got to change that thinking. I don't even think of I know that's my car. I have possession of it, but I have to register it whenever I move to a new state or what have you. I got to re-register it. So who really owns it? I mean, I don't know. I say God. I'll give all ownership to God. That's where it belongs. But I don't look at owning stuff. I mean, I have said that it would be nice to find some place instead of renting or whatever. It would be nice to be investing in something that I can own. But even I know that that's still slightly true. Yeah, it just means that I will pay it off and I'll have the title in my name. But I'm still going to have insurance and pay taxes on it. Who owns it? I'm throwing it out there. Because the devil don't own nothing. We don't own, nobody does. So when you say the devil owns the world, you're giving him power that doesn't belong to him. So we got to knock it off and watch how we word things. And like I said, I saw that on Quora. Somebody's out there preaching that the devil owns this world. No, he don't. No, he don't. There's no way, because he's all about appearances and the illusion of power and control. And how do you own an illusion? How? How can you own an illusion, right? I mean, that's a good question. I thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up too. Yes, let's get these truths to our fellow spiritual warriors for Christ. All people who need them. Absolutely. So, Can I use my headset? Sound is better with the headset mic. Okay, well, that's what I'm holding this. Looks like a fan. No, the picture on the back wall there is a picture of a seashell. The rabbit hole tells us that the devil owns our soul. No, it don't. No, he don't. No, he don't. The devil does not own nothing. Okay, so you want me to put the headset on? Well, there's a reason why I'm there's a reason why I've got it this way, because I want to try something, because it's limited and I like to move around a little bit. Yeah, but there's a reason why. Okay. Well, that's true. Yeah, a mortgage isn't ownership either. The bank owns your home till you pay it off. Well, okay. Does the bank even own it? Okay. Well, and here we go. All right. That better? I'm just, like I said, I was just trying something out new to see if I could give myself a little bit more mobility here. Move around. But yeah, I need y'all to understand that the devil don't own nothing. And so when you talk about the banks owning a home, okay, much better and clearer. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm glad y'all let me know. Like I said, trying out something new. So, okay, when I got to use the headset, I got to wear it. Okay, got it. Good. Okay. Now, that being said, when you say the bank owns your home, do you know how a mortgage works? Okay. When you go and apply for a mortgage, okay, to buy a home or a car or RV, whatever it is you're trying to finance, okay, I want y'all to understand something. The money that you are asking to borrow doesn't exist until they give it to you with interest and you start paying it back. That's how they make their money. The bank doesn't have $250,000 just laying around with your name on it. No, they pull that out of thin air. That's how much you need for the house, and you want to finance it, and you go through the whole process. Okay, but the bank doesn't. It doesn't come into existence until you ask for it and start paying it back. Because when you pay, then you're paying them money that never existed in the first place. Yeah, let that sink in. Okay, and so it works the same way for all things: personal loan, car loan, financing, anything. That's how that works. That money does not exist until you ask for it, and then you get approved. And once you're approved, because they don't actually have that money on hand. Okay, you want to get a personal loan, and you go and you apply. Say you need $5,000 for house repairs. Okay, they're gonna run your credit, all that stuff. And they'll go, okay, great, you're approved, and your interest rate is, let's say, 15.99%. Yeah. And so now you got to start paying. You start paying that back with the interest. You're paying money back that didn't exist in the first place. Ding, 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 ding. That's not a secret, y'all. It's out there. I forget who it was on TikTok talking about that, too. I said, oh, yeah, I'm not the only one that knows that truth. That money don't exist until you go and apply for it. And if you get approved, now you're, see, that's how the matrix works. See, people don't realize that. A lot of people don't, yeah, I mean, I didn't know that until I learned it too. And there was a mortgage broker on TikTok that told us that. And I said, they said, yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They don't realize that's how it works. That's why when we talk about the devil and how do you own an illusion? You don't. Because that money doesn't exist until you go and apply for whatever, until you ask for it. Like student loans. That doesn't exist until you ask for it. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, but that's how it works. So all these places out here saying, "Oh, you can qualify for up to X amount and emergency relief personal loan money." The money that they're offering you does not exist until you ask for it, get approved, and then you start paying them. They never gave you money in the first place. You're the one giving them money plus interest. Ding, 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 ding. Welcome to the narcissistic matrix and their money game. You go finance the car? Okay. And that's why they use that credit score as the dangling carrot as to whether or not they'll approve you. And they look at your credit history. But yet, like in the United States, who's in charge of dictating that credit score? Yeah. Ha! Yeah, the country is trillions of dollars in debt. Okay. It's an illusion. That debt ain't real. Because that's money that never existed in the first place until people started asking for it. I'm just, listen, real talk. Okay? And the devil doesn't own nothing. I'm just, listen, I know. It's like, wait. Think about it. Okay, and how do I feel at work? Shackled to a headset. Okay. Well, I was not complaining about the headset. I was just thinking about me talking with my hands and how I like to move around a little bit. I'm not complaining about wearing it. If it works better, okay, to wear it and you can, it's a lot clearer. Okay, great. Awesome. I don't mind it. Okay. Well, I know you tell that to the bank when they try to come and repo your home if you default on the mortgage. Well, and that's their biggest threat. That's how they get, that's how they, that's how they bribe you into paying them money that didn't exist in the first place. It's the threat of repoing. We're going to take it away if you don't pay us that money that never existed in the first place. That's pretty intimidating, of course. Come on now. Yeah. I would say you should be in the well, yeah, but you got a conscience. I hear you. I'm not knocking it, y'all. It's just the way the world works. I mean, really. It's the way the world works. And when you know that, it's like, oh, so when you go in and you apply and they, for whatever reason, decide to not approve you, you can go, okay, I'll find another way. I'll find another way. That's all. And yeah, they do. I know. They will put the house in foreclosure if you don't pay. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's quite the game of narcissism in action right there. Well, no, it ain't right, but that's how it works. Same thing with cars and stuff. Yeah. I don't fall for the fear mongering though, y'all. I really don't. I'm like, what? Yes, hello, Kingdom Advancers. Welcome. And thank y'all again for hitting that thumbs up. I'm going to tell you, when you learn how that works in the narcissistic matrix, you have much better understanding going forward in life. That God said the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, it's pretty daggone evil to be charging people interest on money that didn't exist in the first place, don't you think? That's pretty, yeah, that's deceitful. But, you want to buy a house? I know, right? What are your options, huh? And, you know, you got income, you got a good credit score, you qualify, okay. I mean, what are you going to do? Right? So, I mean, rock and a hard place. Because, well, that's the housing market is designed that way, y'all. Either you pay rent, and the rent is so high you can't even save to buy a home. So when you want to go buy a home, you need, at least you can save a little bit of a down payment, maybe, but you got to get your credit score and you got the income. Okay, well, you can qualify for a mortgage that's actually going to come out half of what you were paying in rent. But then now you got utility, house insurance, property taxes. Where are you saving? Oh. The difference is you're buying a home instead of renting. That's it. You might get lucky and save a few $100 not renting anymore. But at some point that electric bill is going to go up. Nobody thinks about this stuff. I'm like, what? Well, you used to pay $1,500 a month in rent, and so now you're paying with utilities, with the electric, internet, all of that other good stuff, everything, buying a home. Okay, you might be paying $1,250 for the first 5 years, and then over time that electric bill is going to go up, and then after about 7 years, now you're paying $1,500 a month, but you're still buying the house. Man, I was just renting an apartment for $1,500 about 7 years ago. Y'all, think outside the box. That's it, chosen one. Got to think outside the box. You got to understand this stuff. And I want to touch a little bit more on that in the rabbit hole. How they're trying to say that the devil owns our soul. No, he doesn't. Because, again, the devil don't own nothing. Because you can't own an illusion. I mean, what? How do you do that? How do you own an illusion? So, that being said, Jesus saved our soul, y'all. That's why we up here ministering and teaching and preaching with God's wisdom, spiritual truth, God's truth. Yeah. And God's revealing all to us, to his chosen one. He awakened us to all of that evil that's around us. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about it. Because it is a highly narcissistic matrix out there. And the love of money that it has is the root of all evil. And it is used. I mean, I had to talk about that because it's true. A lot of people don't realize that we know that. And so if you don't know that and you walk in and you want to try to buy something, I've seen the rent to own. Don't fall for that either. I mean, that title owner. I've had people do that. So you're the owner of Consulting for Heightened Awareness. I was like, well, okay, yeah, I guess you can call me the owner of. I'm the CEO. I'm the founder of Consulting for Heightened Awareness. It was given to me by God. Y'all, when I was asking God, what were we going to call this consulting practice, this ministry? So what are we going to call this? And that, when he dropped it on my spirit, Consulting for Heightened Awareness, because 1 Peter 5 verse 8, it's just the more aware we become of these things, the less the devil can deceive us. That's why we got to share these truths with one another, so that we don't keep getting duped. Nobody likes to be duped. But chosen one, we don't mind admitting it. And we will overcome it together. That's how it works. In this ministry, we come together. And it says, well, and then, and putting families out on the street is very evil for a prophet. You see, the love of money is the root of all evil. God never said we can't have money. Well, it's your mindset. Okay, that's your mindset. And they got us by short and curlies in the property market. Well, of course, it's like another double whammy. Remember, the devil loved his double whammies. It's like, danged if you do, danged if you don't. Right? Yeah. And so I get it. I know. But that's what I'm saying. You're going to rent or you're going to buy. I mean, what, exactly. So, variable when you use your interest rate. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen those. Right, rent to own. It's like you buy half and then, yeah, it's like you rent and then all of the rent is supposed to go for a down payment. I forget exactly how it's supposed to go down, but it probably varies depending on where you live and what the so-called rules are for that. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, and it is very evil. And so, even though we have the game of narcissism out here, and we have narcissists, we have evildoers, the one dishing out all that abuse. We have that. The devil doesn't own them either. No, because their physical body is gonna perish at some point anyway, right? Remember, the devil and his demon spirits do not exist without a human host. So at some point, I mean, they're gonna. Well, yeah. I mean, they're. Well, if there's no other narcissist around, one narcissist who's passing away to collect those demon spirits, well, then they're null and void. They don't have anywhere to go. That's why you'll see in narcissistic families, when one of their narcissists passing away, you will see them act like vultures coming around to suck the very last breath out of the one that's passing away. They're collecting their demon spirits. That's what they're doing. I know. Not something I ever want to see again either. I talk more about that on the Patreon channel. And I'm going to tell y'all, the Patreon membership channel, you all, is another great place. Okay? It's not only another place to get more content, but also iron sharpening iron in this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. I just did another community. I've decided this is what we're going to do, at least for now, every month. Okay, once a month, I'm going to do a mental health check-in. We just got the July one up on the Patreon channel in the community. Okay, in the community on the Patreon channel. July mental health check-in. And so I do that for y'all. I want to check in and see how you all are doing. Because you have a voice in this ministry, and we want to be looking out for one another. I know that I know y'all got my back too. I got your back. See, that's how, God has our back. So we got to have each other's back. That's the way it is. We are kingdom family, so we got to look out for one another. We're even told that, okay? God even said, God, he said, I'm protecting you. He said, now y'all protect each other. Okay, y'all got each other's back. Because we know these narcissists out here they're all in this life for themselves. Okay? They don't want to, they ain't got nothing for nobody. Except dishing out the abuse and taking advantage of whoever they can. But see, we learn. When you heal from the trauma, get closer to God, and you realize that, guess what? We don't have to let them do that to us anymore. We no longer play doormat to them. No, we learn to set boundary. Tell them no. And we test the spirit by the spirit, absolutely, 100%. Because these evildoers out here are only out for themselves. They don't care about nobody else. Remember that. They can't. They don't have the God-given empathy. They don't have access to God. Okay? So they don't have it. And that's it. Iron sharpening iron. Yes. Glory be to God. That's what we're doing here. And so you can unlock access to a lot of exclusive content for as little as $5 a month. And I got something else coming for y'all. Okay, I want to make sure that you all have some perks. And so I'm just going to plant a little seed that we've got some things that God had us put on the vision board quite a while ago. And I thought I was going to put it the Academy, but you know what? No. We're going to add it to the Patreon channel, okay, y'all? So stay tuned. We got more, oh gosh, so much more coming to the Patreon channel. And you also, for those of you who are listening to the Truth Seeker podcast, if you're not, that link is listed below. And you can also find the page on the website, CHA's Truth Seeker podcast page at cdhrwdrmd.org. Okay, you can find the preferred podcast platform. We're on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and more, okay, at CHA's Truth Seeker podcast. Now, Tuesdays, we go live around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the YouTube channel with that Truth Seeker podcast, God willing, of course. Now, that being said, we also have the Truth Analyzer Patreon podcast on the Patreon channel. It's just a similar concept, like what we talk about here, we just dive deeper on the Patreon channel. And really, the best way to describe the Patreon channel for you all, I've said this before. Let me bring it back. Ooh, Holy Spirit said bring it back. Okay, what you're getting right now on this YouTube channel, okay, and not just the live streams, on the replays, and then on other videos and the short stuff. What you're getting here and across other social platforms is you're on the front porch of my house. Okay, I'm going to use this analogy. You're on the front porch. I got the door open, but there's a screen there that's separating us, right? Yeah. But you can look in, you can see everything clearly, just fine. You're getting the messages, you're hearing the Word of God, you're learning more about narcissism and God's spiritual truth, and you're getting all that, right? But you're on the front porch. You're on the front porch. And so the Patreon channel, for as little as $5 a month, opens up that screen door, and you get to come on inside. Welcome to my world. All right, it's our world, y'all. Seriously. So that's the way that I like to think of my Patreon channel, or our Patreon channel, okay? Because it's part of the ministry. It is a membership channel, but I bring a lot more to you all from behind the scene. We have cooking demos, short workout clips, that just the introduction. Okay, those are just introductions to things coming. And also the Truth Analyzer Patreon podcast, okay? And then we have sermons. I've got case testimonies, case results, case study results, testimonies from that. And then my own personal testimony of just more about yours truly and how we are doing on the spiritual awakening journey. And so, like I just shared in the Patreon community there, I answered our fellow warrior Chris there talking about, and you are absolutely spot on about us taking full responsibility for our circumstances with that discernment, of course. And so yours truly, okay, I'm in the season of identifying more self-sabotaging behaviors so I could stop doing that. You know, if the devil can't get to you directly, he'll send a narcissist. If that don't work, he wants you to do it to yourself. Self-sabotage. Well, same concept with radio frequency. See, we're way past the narcissist side of things with self-sabotaging, so we're way past that part, although we are still unlearning some old habits that we didn't realize were passed on to us from the narcissist. We didn't know anything else at the time, and boy, I tell you, that's ongoing. But I'm at the point where the radio frequency, if there's no radio frequency to zap you, there'll be a chemical. If there's no chemicals, then what are we doing to ourselves? Hold on a second. Same concept. And so, in other words, like the example I use, frequently, and on the Patreon channel too, and talk about this, is lotion. I started paying closer attention to the ingredients in lotion, and I was like, oh, I am not putting that back on my skin. Nope. It went right in the trash. When I found some words I could not pronounce. And then, of course, sodium, aluminum. That's right. I said, no, it goes in the trash. I said, we're not putting those chemicals on our skin no more. So stuff like that. Okay, that's where I'm at in the spiritual awakening. Okay, to let y'all know. All right, for anybody else who might be there. If you're not there yet, you will be. Because that's how too deep it gets with this movement and finding out, okay, what else have we been lied to about since birth that we're doing to ourselves to get chemicals in our system that don't belong there. I ain't talking about makeup. I said, y'all got it. Yeah, exception to the rule here. And I'm learning to take more breaks. Like I said in my response there to our fellow warrior Chris on the Patreon channel, I said, we're learning to take more breaks and even go a little bit lighter from time to time. But for the most part, it's part of it's part of our warrior style. So we got to go with that. But yeah, as far as poison out here in this matrix, yeah, we gotta be paying attention and looking at everything. Everything. That's right. Drink some coffee and tea cakes. Yeah, there you go. Hey, okay, and whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat, Kingdom Advancers. Thank you. Kingdom-minded advancers. My bad. All right, and so companies are an abstract entity. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, working full time and never able to get ahead it feels like slavery. Well, that's what the Matrix wants. Yeah. And a YouTube video recently with a nurse describing a dying narcissist getting harassed by demons as they were dying. She said she could hear the demon in the room like howling hyenas. I don't doubt that. Now, we don't have the demon of doubt. But yeah, she saw a YouTube where the nurse was describing a dying narcissist getting harassed. See, that's why I try to tell y'all. Some people are under the impression that the devil does not harass narcissists. No, he does. Yes, he does. His demon spirits harass them on a constant basis. This is why they're so easy to program with that television, because that mind-numbing machine stops that. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know what it is. They don't know why they have all these crazy thoughts going in their head, all this spiritual wickedness. It's like they know it there, but they don't know why. And so the television is the hypnotizing machine, and it numbs their mind. It distracts them from the demon spirits in their head. That's why chosen ones, we don't have to do that because we don't have the demon spirits up there. We're like, hold on a minute. Did I just see that? Yeah, I saw that. So, yeah, they do howl. And you know what? And they growl too. Don't forget that one. Oh, y'all, the demons, they growl. Yes. Remember, I shared a while ago, for those who haven't caught that. Okay, let me bring it back. I love it when the Holy Spirit says bring it back. Y'all remember, okay, some of y'all are going to remember this creepy stalker dude. Okay, when I was staying at that, it's a death chamber, okay, mini electrocution chamber. When I was living there, yeah, there was this dude, and long story short, okay, because chosen one, we're polite, okay, we don't go around and being rude or mean or anything, and so I didn't catch right away, but he was driving past as I was walking back to my room, if you will, and so I just smiled politely, and he smiled back. Nothing, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, but. Okay, well, and right, walking towards my room, but I was actually walking laps. So I come back around, all right, and there he comes again. But this time, with a bit of a Cheshire cat grin on his face. I said, uh-oh. No. So one day, as I was walking laps, he come walking around the corner, right, and like where my room was located. I don't know if he knew what my number was, but I wasn't gonna help him out. Okay, he was walking by and literally growled as he was walking by me. Growled, and I was like, "Yo, yes, that's the one that shapeshifted." When I wasn't looking back like Sodom and Gomorrah or anything, but I was just peeking back to see if he was out of sight so I could go into my room. And he wasn't quite yet, but his whole upper body was turned all the way around. He was walking forward. I saw that part, walking forward, but his whole top half was twisted almost all the way around, and he had a really scrunched up face in anger looking at me while still I was like, yo, that's the kind of stuff you don't unsee that stuff. But yeah, we can't do that. I mean, what? We're not made to turn like. I mean, literally, he was. Only a demon can do that. Only a demon can shapeshift like that. But he growled right in my ear. I was like, I said, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. Growled because he could not get an emotional read on me. I mean, it was, ugh. But no, eventually he moved out. Yes. Glory be to God. He moved out before I did. Okay, and so the nurse said that the narcissist, the dude, was shouting and swearing at the demons. I believe it. And demons are very animalistic. Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. Yep, they howl, growl, and curse. Yep. And they stink, too. Mm-hmm. Yep. I remember. Now, you didn't. I know you said you nearly broke your neck, but I know. We're not made to do that. We're not made to do that. And, I mean, I was like, yeah, no, when he did that, I said, that's shape-shifting. I said, oh, my goodness. But that's the kind of stuff we see in God's reality now. And, I mean, it's like, you know, when you find out that demonic possession is real, it's like, oh, my goodness, it's a whole nother, whew. It's an eye-opening experience for sure. And chosen ones, you know, we don't ignore this stuff. And we can't ignore this stuff. It's so important to understand that. So this is where we get into the and more, but we've been talking about how the devil can't own nothing. He don't own nothing. He's all about appearances and the illusion of power and control. And how do you own an illusion? You don't. You don't. And it's crazy, but nobody owns anything, really. No, 1 Timothy 6, verse 7, again, you all. Yeah, so oh gosh, wow, yeah. And, you know, the other thing you got to watch out for, too, is that these narcissists, okay, you all, the narcissists out here, there's a lot of them who don't know that they're shape-shifting when they do that. They don't have, well, because they don't have control of themselves. They're not aware that their autonomic nervous system has been hijacked by demons. That's just another way to put it. They don't realize that. And that's a big reason why, when God revealed that to me, I said it makes sense as to how they don't know. They seriously don't know. They're looking at you the way they're looking at you. Because their vagus nerve is only half functioning. The demon spirit got control of the other half. Demon spirits have control of their facial expression and their muscles because, well, they don't. Okay? It's the radio frequency poisoning, you know, in a lot of ways. So you got to keep that in mind. But when they doing it, a lot of people don't know. And, you know, I have seen people doing the shape-shifting, like right there in a grocery store. I've seen a narcissist shape-shift. And other people are around. And I'm wondering, did they not see that? And apparently not. Apparently not. Because you got to have God's spiritual glasses on to see that stuff. It's wow. Yeah, it is something else. And so I'm like, okay. Well then, wow. Okay, y'all. No, that was on the highway. I mean, I know the highway's okay. I know it's close, but wow. Oh gosh, yeah. There was That was ridiculous. I have no idea. And it doesn't matter. I don't know. But it was loud. No, it did not. No, it didn't scare us or anything like that. It was loud. Yeah, the noise canceling microphone did not cancel that out. Y'all know I can't control outside noises, so I have no idea. No idea. And so it sounds fantastical to talk about the demons and angels, but it's absolutely true. I know it does. It sounds almost like a fantasy, doesn't it? Yeah, but it's very real. It's very real. I mean, demons. And so then you talk about ain't chosen ones, it's like, okay, what are you going to do, right? Yeah, we see it, and then they're shocked and angry when they know we see it. That's true. Thank you, kingdom-minded advancers, because that's true. They get angry because we can see it. And that further confirms, thank you. When I was wondering, sometimes I'm out and about and I see it, and then there's a couple other people over here, and they're looking in that direction. I'm like, did they not just see that? No, apparently they didn't. Because we didn't used to either. I know it, yeah, I did not see these things until the awakening, and Jesus saved my soul. I know that stuff has been going on our whole lives. And I do remember as a child seeing some things similar to that, but I wasn't sure. I was just a kid. And I do remember I would tell my mom, of course I didn't know she was a Jezebel at the time. I didn't know anything about that. But I would tell her I saw this or I saw that, and I would be told that I'm just imagining things. So basically I was getting gaslighted. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So now we realize that we were not imagining those things when we were a kid. I want y'all to let that sink in. That's how part of the cognitive dissonance gets induced in us, is by them gaslighting. Yeah, by telling us we're just imagining things. Oh, you're just a kid. You're just imagining that. I'm going to tell y'all something. Children, they see a lot more than you realize. And the devil knows this. Exactly. And so we got to remember that. And so thank you, because you confirmed that, yeah, those people obviously didn't see what we saw. Because, right, and then if the narcissist, they can tell that we saw that. And they get upset. Their demon spirit get mad that we can see it. And it doesn't matter what the devil tries to do to manipulate our eyesight, we can still see it, because once those spiritual glasses are on, that's it. I don't care about anything else. We can still see in the spiritual. It don't matter. That's right. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great point. There you go. Okay. That way or nothing. But well, I appreciate. Thank you for the compliment. Okay. Thank you for the compliment. I'll take that. Okay. And then children and animals are sensitive to the. That's it. Great point. Great point. Because I remember as a kid, I could sense the spiritual. And then chosen ones, I know you've experienced this too. You in the grocery store, right? I used to wonder, why is that baby staring at me like that? I used to wonder that all the time. I said, why is that baby staring at me? It's like, okay, look, I know I'm not ugly, but seriously, I was like, why is that baby looking at me like that? See, chosen ones, we beautiful, okay? Just don't let it go to your head. All right, and it's not outward appearances that makes us beautiful either. It's the soul, it's the heart, okay? That's what makes our eyes beautiful, not the color, but it's the fact that they are the window to our soul. This is another reason why narcissists, they target us, because they could see that. They could see the empathy in our eyes. That's how they mirror it. That's what makes us beautiful, is that empathy in our soul. But I see you relating. You in the grocery store, you're like, why is that baby staring at me like that? Now you know. Because I remember as a kid, I was sensing the spiritual. And then animals, especially cats. That's what I've learned about cats. Is that, man, if they're not domesticated, they are spooked very easily. I mean, yeah. And now dogs, I do know, yes, they too can see and sense in the spiritual. Absolutely. All of God's creations are supposed to be able to. But with this narcissistic matrix and all of its shenanigans with the abuse and distraction and things like that, takes a while. And God awakens us, but I will never forget that. I wonder, I was like, why is that kid staring at me like that? I mean, that just, I'm like, would you look at that? And of course I smile, and I'm like, hey, and they just looking. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it's just, but yeah, children and animals are very sensitive to the spirit world. And the devil knows that. The devil knows that, and he tried to take advantage of it by instilling fear. Your dog could see the ghost in the form of home. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, dog too. Yeah, I mean, we can't discount that. As far I am still debating about. Well, if your dog could see the ghost, well, okay. I mean, I have to think about that. I mean, I know spirits exist, obviously, but the demon spirit don't exist without a human host. So that's why I wonder about the ghost thingy. But lost souls, what have you, in the spirit realm. Wow, that opens up a whole new perspective right there. Talk about. Yeah, and the and the kids sometimes look at you and smile as if they can see something the adult cannot. See, you because they can. The adult, if the adult can't see it, but the kid can, and the kid smiles at you, and it's not. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It's not a devilish grin or anything, but it's a satisfactory type, like like they know, like I see what's up. Yeah, that kind of like like a form of happiness, but a form of knowing, like a smile of just knowing. Okay, they see the spirit, they see the Jesus spirit in you, they see the light. That's the anointing. They see it, and their parent don't. That's pretty cool, huh? That's pretty cool. I think it is. And you got to remember that's a big reason why the devil targets children as hot and heavy as he does. And it's an unfortunate truth about, the big D and the demonic realm. And try to get into the subconscious mind of children early on. And as a big part of the game of narcissism on the world stage, and all we can do is pray for kids. I've talked a little bit about that, because I mean, even myself as a kid growing up in California, they had Disneyland out there, so of course my parents dragged me on in there, and of course as a kid, of course that was fun, right? But now we know the truth, and it's an unfortunate truth. But even that, y'all, is not as big as it wants you to think it is. It's really not. It just had that appearance. Because a lot of your studios and a lot of the glitz and glam, there's no such thing as celebrity. That's all for glitz and glam, for entertainment. Keep the toddler and adult body entertained. That's it. That's all it's for. But it's not as big as it wants you to think it is. It's not. I have been residing, at the time of this video, been residing outside of Orlando for about 2 years. Okay, outside of Orlando, Florida, and I can tell you that Big D ain't as big as it wants you to think. It has a lot of theme parks, sure. It has a lot of studios. And then it's the other half of Holly Weird. But it's not as big as it wants you to think. Just like the devil's not as big as he wants you to think he is. Y'all have to understand that. Don't be looking at this like, wow, man, they're just too big and too powerful. No, they're not. Because we still have the choice as to whether or not we will allow ourselves or our kids to be exposed to that. Once we know the truth about it. And I'm not the only one. Y'all are not the only one. It's on TikTok. There are some people that are actually going to the theme park and they are scoping these things out and they are exposing it for the evil that it is. The tunnels, everything. Yes, so we're not alone in this knowledge. It's out there, but there's still a lot of people who don't know. And that's what keeps them in business, is those who don't know. There you go. Kingdom-minded advancers. A lot of portals. Exactly. And it's witchcraft in action. Big time. All those songs. And then I see it on the billboards. I love this. I'm like, they telling you. I said, it's right in front of your face. They telling you when you drive down the highway and you see that billboard and it has Universal Studios up there and the caption is "Be spellbound." Witchcraft. Hello. I said, they're telling you. Yeah. And then I go up the way and there's a resort and they call it Fantasyland Resort. Really? Yeah. They call it Fantasyland Resort. And their motto, life really can be a fantasy. Oh. I'm just like, oh no. Narcissists will believe that. Okay, so yeah, there is a lot of business. Well, I was talking about a town called Celebration outside of Kissimmee and Orlando. It's called Celebration and sold, and I don't know if it was sold by that or not, but I'm telling you that town of Celebration, it does. It looks like an old. I'm serious. It's not old looking, but it looks like a set. It looks like a movie set. It like maybe 15, 20 years ago, it was a movie set. But then because I'm learning that as I pay closer attention to certain things, because I came across another thing on TikTok where it is inviting you to come and stay at the place where the movie Dirty Dancing was filmed. You can actually go and stay there now. And I said, hold up a second. That just confirms my hunch. Because ever since I visited Celebration the first time, I said, this feels like Back to the Future. I said, this is what it looks like. And then some of the houses, I go around one loop and I go across the bridge. And then there's another walking loop, a whole nother neighborhood. And I said, man, that looked like a Hallmark movie. I mean, that neighborhood looks like something right out of a Hallmark movie. And then I go back across the bridge, and then, okay, there's this hotel and a big restaurant. There's the water fountain. There's this old-timey movie theater. And I'm like sitting here going, I'm seeing Back to the Future Part 3 right here. And so I just, yeah. So it does. And I said, I think that, I think there's a lot of old movie sets that got turned into towns and resorts and things like that. I was like, wow, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And I'm not saying it wouldn't be kind of cool to go stay there, where the movie was filmed. But I just found that to be intriguing. Another piece of the puzzle here. Because we now know about Project Bluebeam and green screen, blue screen for those of us who edit videos. So we know how easy it is to deceive. And so now that they have all those advancements in technology, you don't have as many old movie areas like that anymore, right? To turn into a housing area or a small town after the movie's already been filmed there. And so it's just sitting there. It's all built to look real. But see, now they have the Project Bluebeam, green screen, blue screen, where they can make anything look real. You can do a virtual background. You can make anything look real without having to actually build a building. Ding, 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 ding. So, another reason why we question everything now. All right, y'all. So, there you go. Let's tidy this up here. And so, yes, and there's a lot of portals. And just in a couple of years, I've learned a lot about this place. And I know that I thought years ago, I said, man, it'd be great if I could go there and explore and ride the rides and stuff. And now I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. Now that we know what it really is. And it's unfortunate, but yeah. Well, what do you do, right? When you know, uh, mm, right? Like when God tells us, yeah, now that we know they're a narcissist, be not partakers with them. So there you go, everybody. That wraps up this Sunday's Let's Just Chat. I thank you all for sharing your insights. Absolutely, 100%. Yes, okay. And I look forward to more of this. And I look forward to seeing y'all join us on that Patreon channel. If you want to test the water, there is the free membership side of Patreon, okay? And I will drop short clips, okay, every now and again on the free side as well. And you get previews on the free side. So there you go. Okay, you can check that out before you start pledging your $5 a month. We have 3 tiers: $5, $10, and $20. In each tier, right. We're working on some more perks for y'all too, though. We got some in place, but we're gonna improve that for y'all. But if you want to test the water, the Patreon channel is listed in the video description below. You can sign up as a free member first and test the waters. Absolutely. And don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that you might have. And I appreciate all of you who continue to sow your seed into this ministry via PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, and then on the website as well. All proceeds go right back into our growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Because yours truly, this is my full-time job, getting up here and serving in the kingdom of God. I don't go clock in anywhere anymore. This ministry is our work, and we're going to keep it moving and keep going forward, and that is that. All right, y'all? So thank you again, and I know that, yes, y'all better believe it. I declare and decree that God's going to restore it all back to y'all 100-fold. Jesus said so. Those of us who have forsaken all for the name of Jesus will receive 100-fold. And God is a promise keeper. We know this. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.